Hello and welcome to the workshop. Another life test is upon us, but before we dive into the sneakers, today's video is sponsored by StockX, so shouts to them. StockX is, in my opinion, the best place, the best platform to buy and sell new verified authentic sneakers. I've been using StockX personally for years now, whether we're talking about a new release that you might have missed out on, or an older pair of holy grails that you've been carefully hunting for a decade. Or even a pair like this Air Max 90 Duck Camo, which after wearing them as much as I've worn them, I'm probably gonna need to buy a new pair. So we will put a link in the description of this video and you can check them out for yourself. The layout, the way it's set up, the way it's organized, and just the sheer number of sneakers available make it a no-brainer, in my opinion, for sneaker lovers such as ourselves. And on that note, I present to you the Nike Air Max 90 Duck Camo after 1 month of wearing. The pros and the cons. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I have worn these every single day since the day I got them. No exaggeration. Sometimes I wore them all day, 16 hours, and other times just for a couple hours, but every single day I have laced them up and worn them. I've spilled coffee on them, trying to make that new whipped coffee that you see on TikTok. I've stepped in dog. It's been a rough month as far as wearing them, I can tell you that. And so here is the final verdict. We've got all the evidence, everything is gathered and accumulated to present to you. So number one, whenever we do these update videos, the first thing that I like to address is the monetary value of a sneaker, because as we know, sneakers are like stocks these days, hence the whole StockX thing. Prices fluctuate, they rise, they fall, etc., etc. I don't need to explain that to you, but when I first got these, they were reselling for about 250 bucks. Now they are up over $300, so not a huge jump, but it's always smart to note which way a shoe is trending. And the retail price was 140 bucks, by the way, so that's over double. That's 100% increase, actually a little bit more. Now, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a financial advisor, but like I said, it is something to note. Next, I want to talk about the fit and comfort and how they've changed, if at all, since the first day I laced them up. They do run true to size, and I don't think that's any different a month later. Every once in a while, you'll get a sneaker that kind of stretches out, right? A certain material, and as you wear them, they kind of get a little loosey-goosey. A sneaker that comes to mind, some of you may remember these, it was a sneaker that I loved, the Adidas Aniki Runner. I feel like they stretched out at least a half a size. So these do stay true is what I'm getting at. That's the moral of the story. And as far as comfort goes, they're actually surprisingly comfortable, and as you break them in, they get even more comfortable, which is the case a lot of times with older Air Max sneakers. I've noticed that. Not necessarily super comfy out of the box, but as you break them in, they do get more so. Now, it isn't Ultra Boost comfortable. It's not the New Balance 990 or the Nike Vomero 5. They aren't Cozy Boy certified like those pairs are, but I have no complaints. I'm gonna say the comfort is 7 out of 10. Now, jumping over to another really important aspect, the durability. How well do they hold up? Maybe that's the most important aspect. On the one hand, they hold up very well. It is a well-constructed sneaker. There's no loose stitching, nothing's falling apart. Of course, I've only had them for a month, so even though I've worn them a ton, you wouldn't expect the sneaker to be falling apart so soon, and these certainly are not. Now, the other part of durability is how good they look with so much wear. And that's the point that these kind of fall short on, in my opinion. Granted, I've been very rough on them, unintentionally, but very rough nonetheless. This midsole, it actually will stain up a little bit on you. I cleaned them and still there was some discoloration spots. The mesh on the toe box is another area that can stain pretty easily. So even though the camo is a rugged material, it's not necessarily a sneaker that you can beat up without worrying about how they'll look. There is camo on the sneaker, they are not tanks. They will lose that fresh and crispy look relatively quickly. And I always talk about certain sneakers that look better and better the more you wear them. The Jordan 1 probably being the best example of that. But then on the flip side of things, you have sneakers that look worse the more you wear them. I would say the best example would probably be the Air Force 1. These are closer to the Air Force 1 in that regard. The first week I had these, they looked incredible. The more I've worn them, the more I've beat them up. Kind of the worse they look. I mean, it's not terrible, but they're just not quite as fresh. They don't have that same oomph to them. At least that's my take on it. Overall, I'm very happy with the sneaker. I'm almost certainly gonna buy another pair. It's been a super wearable sneaker for me, which is important. It's a classic Air Max model, so you can throw them on with whatever and feel pretty good about it, which is why, like I said, I've worn them for a month straight. It's not one of those sneakers that you can only wear here and there, wear once every couple months, break them out and put them back on the shelf. This, even though it is a very loud colorway, I think it's a daily wearer. Is that the right word?
Sure.
A wearer. And speaking of colorways, there was another pair that released recently. It was a neon green colorway. I much prefer this infrared. I love the way it pops. I love the way it looks against the duck camo. I just think it's a really nice combination and a really nice look. On a scale of 1 to 10, factoring in everything from price and comfort to durability and wearability, I'm gonna give these an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a great sneaker. It's one of my favorite Nikes to release in 2020 thus far. And even though they sold out and do have some resale value like we talked about, I still think they are pretty underrated personally. Leave a comment below and let us know, how do you feel about these? How do you feel about this particular sneaker? How do you feel about the Air Max 90 in general, or even the Air Max line as a whole? And maybe most importantly, what sneaker should we life test next? The ultimate sneaker review, I say this all the time, it's wearing a sneaker for an extended period of time and then reaching a verdict, only after all the evidence is brought forth. You know, you have a court of law, and this is a court of sneakers. down here at the workshop. So leave a comment below and let us know. Always love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. You are very, very appreciated. We will be back tomorrow, mañana. Same time, same place, right here at the workshop with a brand new sneaker for your head top. Oh, we got those chunky SBs coming in. So for anyone who wants to see that review, definitely make sure you stay tuned. Buckets, any final words of wisdom for the people?
No.
Nothing from Buckets. I got nothing else. Adios.